What's the most critical manufacturing knowledge you've seen walk out the door with retiring experts? How would AI help? The craziest story I've heard, but it wasn't a factory that I was in, was one that had several of their experts retire at once, and they actually had a yield collapse, first pass yield collapse to like 40%. And they ended up offering those people offers to return immediately. They didn't have enough of them. They flew in experts from all around the world, planted them in the factory for the next 2 months at huge raises to get the thing back under control. I wasn't in that factory myself, but the person who did that job told me the story directly, and that blew my mind. A collapse to 40%, people from around the world flown in, paid extra to like just restabilize a plant back to where it was before. A story that I've observed personally, I'm thinking about a plant that I was in myself just a couple weeks ago here in California, electronics plant. And as I was walking up to talk to the management, there was a guy emptying out his desk, going to his car, and actually saw his wife at his car as well. And I talked to him. I said, "Hey, what's it going? What's your name?" He said, "Jim." I said, do you mind me asking, like, what are you packing up? He said, "Yeah, I'm retiring." I said, "Oh, how long have you been here?" He said, 32 years worked at this plant. I said, "That's incredible. Thank you for your service." I said, "Do you mind me asking, what did you work in?" He said, "Oh, quality." My wife too. We're two of the quality technicians. We've been repairing all the work here. And I kind of looked in his box and I saw a bunch of the little nice artifacts, pictures of his family, little like doodads, notebooks, and other things. And I just realized this guy has, and his wife both, tremendous amount of quality knowledge. And I said, I really hope this plant got things written down into structured fishbone type diagrams, fault tree analysis, FMEA, whatever methods that they could be using. I went on to talk to the plant about the process engineering side, and they're really interested in our downtime use case. But these people on the quality side were walking out the door, and you can only hope that before they've gone out the door, they have so much deep tacit knowledge, not just on the existing products, but how to quickly make that same fault tree analysis decisions for the next one. And they don't even have to write it down. It's just there. And that's the kind of stuff, if it's actually articulated and written down, AI knows how to follow these trees amazingly well, and you can capture that. This is the kind of stuff you've got to capture before you go out the door. It becomes the central part of how the generic thinking machine thinks in the context of your specific factory and how the data sets should actually be linked. It's extremely important. And companies like us are capable of figuring this out on any third-party processes. I mentioned Fuji pick and place machines, injection moldings, things that tons of different companies buy exactly the same stuff. But when it comes to your quality and your product, and you have some generic functional test machines, maybe the functional test machines are even completely specific to your product. That is just exceedingly important for you to make sure that you have documented. That makes a night and day difference whether AI is going to be able to rapidly get to value, or you're going to be stuck trying to convince people to give information that is not already written down, and they're afraid of the AI and they're dragging their footsteps on you, and you can't get something already helping them in their day-to-day before you get their knowledge. So having best practices for documentation of things independent of AI, especially in quality areas, just exceedingly important.